Hey everybody, welcome to the Casual Hour. We are here to distract you from all the bad shit going on in the world by telling you about fun video games that you should consider playing. I'm Bobby, that is Chase. Chase, how are you doing on episode 457 being recorded live on
That's
February
so many
4th?
episodes.
It's a lot. It's a
That's
lot of things to
so many
distract.
episodes.
But there's a lot of bad out there and we got to fight the bad. So we're going to keep putting these episodes out until things out there are no longer bad, Chase. That's the Casual Hour promise.
Oh, well, then
Buckle up, baby.
we're gonna be going forever.
You belong to me. This is a February episode, which means we're telling you about all the fun video games coming out this month. We're going to tell you about the games that we thought were going to be good in January, and spoiler alert, there were some really good ones. And we'll also just check in on a video game that we streamed this week and both had a good time discussing live. But Chase, I think we have a little bit of time to add in one fun detail here at the beginning of the show tonight. And I have inspiration from an email that your friends and mine, the Nextlander crew, read. And the email
like Vinny Caravella sent you an email and said, Bobby, I've got a great idea for your little podcast.
We're pen pals. Somebody wrote into them and asked the question. They basically were talking about a Yakuza game, and that's relevant for what we're doing tonight. But they said, I loaded up Yakuza 3 or one of those and at the time in 2019 per Alex's glowing recommendation. And recently I decided to go back and finish it and noticed that in the year 2026, I was picking up from a save state in 2019. What is the longest span between starting a video game and finishing a video game? Can you answer the question?
That's a really good question.
It's a very good question.
I don't know if I...
Now, hang on. Before you go too down the rabbit hole, Brad, they basically came to the conclusion, because they could go back and say like games that they reviewed that they maybe played later in life. Brad has a 30-year gap between starting a video game and finishing it, and that is Super Mario World.
Wow. I don't know if I have here's when I started, here's when I finished gap like that. But I do have games that I have revisited and I have gone back to an old save file.
Yeah.
You know, like the easy one is going back to Pokemon Red and going,
totally,
hey, look at all these guys here. And especially when I got my Analog Pocket and it was able to get the like library features, the museum features that it had, I was able to go and kind of save that save state before the battery in that cartridge goes completely dead. And I think we've talked about this on the show before, not exactly the same as what you're talking about, but renting games or buying used games, especially old cartridges, and seeing the save files on those and just going into that to go, oh, you know, I bought my friend's copy of Link to the Past, and I get to see where he is. Oh, he's got the mirror. He's got this thing. He's got a hook shot or whatever. That's so cool. I have no idea where to go or what to do or what any of these things, how any of these things work. But it is really cool to just kind of get a glimpse, a little tease of what you will eventually be in that video game. But I'm trying to think, like, of your question specifically, is there a game that I've I've got one that kind of works here.
Okay.
And it's you're not gonna like it. It's SD Gundam G Generation Genesis.
Okay.
And this is on the PlayStation 4, and that was a game that I completed lots of different campaigns because it has little campaigns for each of the different Gundam shows or Gundam media. But there was one that I didn't want to complete, and that was for Gundam Hathaway, which was a book originally, and then it got made into a movie. Well, sorry, it got made into one movie, and there will eventually be 3 movies. And the second movie just came out in Japan like last week, but the first movie came out like a couple years ago. And then the third movie is whenever the fuck, probably will never come out at this point.
Yeah. Right.
And so there was a part of me that was thinking I should just, I don't want to quote unquote spoil myself for the movies. I should just not play this at all. So I had beaten all the other campaigns and had left that one alone. And spent a while thinking like, okay, well, I'll wait until at least maybe I'll wait until the second movie comes out and then I'll go complete it. And finally, at some point, and it was probably a year of a gap between those things where I went, fuck it, I'm just gonna play that. It annoys me that this game is just unfinished, so let's just finish it and get out of the way.
I think that's fair. It's a Pokemon game. I think it would have been, because we talked about this when I did the big gauntlet with Pokemon games, but I had only played through Blue at the time. Like that was the only thing I completed. And I remember like borrowing my buddy's copy of, it was either going to be this or it was going to be Twilight Princess, because I think it was the second Pokemon game, Silver, is what I remember starting. And then I finished it whenever we did the gauntlet a couple years back. But I didn't have a Nintendo Wii when I was in college. And I remember I was able to borrow my buddies to play Twilight Princess. And, people, revolving door in college, usually people are coming over, hanging out, whatever. And the Wii was there for a while. Somebody accidentally deleted my save on it, and it like took the wind out of my sails. And so I didn't end up finishing that until the remaster version of that came out on the Wii U. So not like a huge gap there, but still a big enough one. But I think Pokemon's probably the largest gap. But I thought that was like a really fun thing to think about, because a lot of times if there's a game that I was playing and I'm going to come back to it, I'm like, I don't remember anything. I'm just going to start over and like
totally
go that route. So
or we all have a billion games that we got partway through and dropped for whatever reason, whether it was good or bad. And it's like just at some point you go, well, maybe I'll come back to it eventually. And then you just kind of never do. And that happens all the time. But for you to come back to a game like that is interesting.
Brad also shared, and I don't even know the science behind this, but he has been able to go in. He has a mister that he uses quite a bit, and he's found a way to go to his physical like NES and SNES cartridges, and he has extracted
he dumped the ROMs.
And he got the save files off it. So he's just like playing that shit. That's crazy to me. Like that he's able to dump that, and like the way that you talked about Pokemon Home, he's got like all that save shit. So when he's emulating stuff, he's actually just playing his fucking game in a modern way, which I thought was super fascinating.
And that's what I was talking about with the Analog Pocket. That can do that with like your Game Boy games. It just has the ability to go, sure. I have saved the state of that. Now, if you go play a ROM of it or put in somebody else's copy of Pokemon Red, you can kind of flash that save onto that cartridge.
That's awesome.
It has preserved my copy of Red to the point that if that battery dies, I could go and replace that battery. And if you replace the battery, then all your save data is gone at that point. But if you replace the battery, now I can put it back in the pocket, flash that save back to that cartridge, and then it keeps it.
That's awesome.
Again. So I've done that with the Pocket, but I know he's got like a device that does it for all sorts.
Yeah,
of
he's got
cartridges.
A crazy setup for it.
I've seen him use it. I know Gersman has one of those too that he uses to dump save files and things like that. And
that's crazy.
That's really cool. Yeah,
man. Game preservation. Game preservation is fucking important. All right, but enough about those old boring games. Let's talk about some newer shit. Chase, on Monday night, you and I went climbing, and I think I had a great time up until the end, but I think you had a bad time up until the end. And
I wouldn't say that. I enjoyed what I saw.
We're talking about Cairn, and this is from the Game Bakers. Do you know that name when I say it out loud?
No.
Okay. Do you know Haven? The game?
No.
Do you know Fury? I think is what it is.
Yes.
I feel like that came out right when we started. Yeah, July 5th, 2016.
It's not like a boss rush kind of thing that had not exactly bullet hell, but like the bosses that had
it was
bullet hell like things.
Very sporadic. It had a ton of style. Kind of looked like a Dead Cells in a little bit, or a Hyper Light Drifter.
Sure. That's Solar Ash.
Yes. So the Game Bakers, those are their games. So Cairn is the next one, and it's, I think, very different from their other entries here. We talked a little bit about it. Like, it's not QWOP, but it's definitely not Jusant, which we talked a lot about on Monday night, just given the nature of climbing. But I don't want to call it a sim because it's still very arcadey, but I do think it's more of a strategic climber than a Jusant was. And I feel like it has a little bit more RPG mechanics into it. Not maybe not RPG, but survival mechanics in it than what a Jusant had. I'm like it, I said this on the stream. It's my favorite thing I've played so far this year, which is kind of tongue in cheek, but it is just a really remarkable video game experience. I was trying to have a zero death run, and Chase, as he typically does when we're streaming games together, was just like, hey, kill yourself in the game, or it'd be really funny if you jumped off the mountain.
Whoa! You're gonna get us demonetized. Or you're gonna get me
Listen, that's
timeout on Blue Sky or something. But
you.
no, I think it's interesting to see fail states and death states, and usually Casual Mondays is a place where
A lot of death.
Where usually when we play games on Casual Mondays, and I know we're changing that for 2026, but usually we are playing kind of run-based games.
Sure.
Something where it doesn't matter. It's fine. Let's do the death state. And I was a little interested to see, in a game about climbing a mountain, if you fall, how far do you go down that mountain? And the answer is kinda. You kind of go down a decent amount before the game decides you're dead.
But the game itself, and like, look, it's not that big of a deal. I was trying to do it right. You have a backpack. You are putting items that you find in the backpack. They are like health-based items. They are food, water. You are maintaining water intake, food intake, and climate, as well as you have a health bar. So if you get into an area where it's too cold, you can black out from the cold if you are hungry, etc. So one of the other cool things, when I was putting those pitons into the mountainside, you kind of saw how it was like the sliding bar and you had to hit it in the center. When you're too cold, they split that in half and you have much smaller targets to hit. So like, there's some things that go into the gameplay with it. But this is a narrative climber also. And I mean, Jusant was that too. You were discovering like what happened to this ancient civilization. There is a little bit of that here also, but there is this, I don't want to call it cat and mouse because you're not chasing anybody, but you are coming across people who climbed Mount Kami before you. And you are getting some audio logs of people like basically leaving voicemails for their loved ones that are doing these climbs. You might be talking to a group with an individual separated and kind of figuring out like who's who and where they at on this journey right now. And did they find each other? And your character, you're going through a lot of things that I feel, and they haven't really like told you exactly, but there's very, very much an internal struggle, and it seems like you are neglecting or running away from a bigger problem. I'm having such a great time with just the mechanics of climbing. It is an intense game at some points in times, like depending on how much you want to push yourself, there's different pathing you can take. But it's a gorgeous game. I think that they find ways to make you slow down and really take in this journey. And you feel I felt so accomplished at times where I've been able to make it up a pretty arduous hike and find a way to get my footing and make it to that. And then there's just these moments where I don't really rush to the next ledge. I just kind of take it in. I do some really cool in-game photography. I've taken so many pictures. Jesus Christ, I've taken so many pictures in this game. But it's really like I played the demo during the Next Fest and I knew it was going to be special, but it has exceeded what I had hoped it to be, even in practice here. I'd say you and I, we kind of deducted that we were like at the halfway mark of the mountain, I think, whenever we were streaming it. And I feel I have maybe like a couple more hours. So I'm hoping to finish that up. There's another game that came out for advanced access yesterday, but it comes out tomorrow. We're going to talk about it here in a little bit that I've also been really excited to play. So I'm trying to like bide my time between a lot of stuff right now. But Karen so far has been taking the cake for me.
Yeah, I mean, just the mechanical density of a game like that seems like its big selling point because I don't like I've compared it too much to Jusant. Like Jusant, that's also a recent climbing game, so it's easy to just put them together. But that Jusant was a little bit more. I wouldn't necessarily call it arcadey, but it
Right.
was
A little bit more like
sure, and it was. You also encountered not people exactly, but you had
mhm,
words from an audio logs of people who had been up the mountain as well. So the experience is a little bit similar from that perspective, but Karen is really doing something more. I guess it's more survival in its inventory management and its bars for food and water and that kind of stuff. But um, what really impressed me was that slow pace that you're talking about.
mhm.
That here's a 20-meter climb that it feels so different and so much more arduous in a game like Cairn than it does in a game like Jusant or a
Big
game
time.
like Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed climbing, it looks cool, but it's really easy.
Yep.
Uncharted climbing looks cool, but it's really easy.
Absolutely.
Horizon Zero Dawn, same
Tomb Raider.
way. Like there's lots of games that do that kind of stuff, but this one goes, what if you had to really pay attention to those things? And I mentioned it a little bit on Monday, but I started watching some more competitive rock climbing, and the last time it was in the Summer Olympics, I was watching it a little bit more then, and got really interested in the intricacies and the mechanics of how that stuff works. And I think Karen
Totally.
is doing a pretty good job of replicating that in a way that most other climbing games are just, I don't know, throw a stamina meter on it and call it good. Like I'm still playing Big Hops, and Big Hops goes, just put a stamina meter on it
Yeah.
and it'll be
Or eat
it'll
a
be
bug
good.
and get a double one.
Totally. But this game seems to go, no, 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 we want you to look at this cliff face and play it like a puzzle game almost.
Yeah.
Do you put your hands here? Do you put your feet here? How do you arrange these things? Do you go up this little crack that might lead up to something? Do you go up that space that might be a little bit more dangerous, but if you can get past that one part that's going to be really difficult, then you can put the piton in, and then
Yep.
you should have smooth sailing up the rest of it. And I like that decision making that a game like that is putting forth. I just wish I didn't have to eat or drink or do any of that bullshit.
100%. I knew that was going to
One
be
last thing I do really like that you really only showed once on the
Oh,
stream, but that's all it required. You can shake the bag.
yeah, man. If you want to make more room,
That was
just shake
such a
your
cool
bag.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Uh,
it almost had this is very much not what the game is going for, but it just reminded me a little of the Suika game, the watermelon game,
big time.
where you're just stuffing all the fruit in there. And this goes, well, all these things that you have in your bag, here's some wrappers for stuff, here's like a bottle of water, here's some whatever, and all that stuff's just in the bag. But you could physically shake the bag and it would settle all the stuff down and give
It's
you a
very
little bit
good.
more space to stuff some other things in. And I thought that is is so cool when we see inventory management systems, in something like Resident Evil or Dredge had
Yeah.
that, where it's just squares, fit
Yeah.
fit your stuff, Tetris it in to fit the squares and make that work. And that can be a cool system too. They built a whole video game just around that idea of arranging your backpack. But I also like people developers who go, what if there was a different way? What if we tried to figure out something not necessarily better, not necessarily more innovative, just different?
Yep.
And I think they really nailed something there. That is such a small thing,
It,
but it is.
it is.
Awesome.
It's like the triple jump. It's just like, they could have done those things. They could have made it just the 2 jumps. They added in. It's not really functioning in a whole lot in the game, but it's so fun to do. And even on this, like anytime I check my bag, I'm like, I'll give it a little tussle. Like I'll hit the RB button and give it a little shake and make some more room here. I don't know, man. Like I think that you could go either way with this in playing it. And I have found, you mentioned it earlier, like you like the slowness of it. The game doesn't punish you, but it definitely corrects you, and sometimes in an unforgiving way if you do try to rush it. And they know if you're trying to spam your way up a mountain, and you will run out of stamina very quick and you will slide back down. So the game has caused me to slow down, which I appreciate. not only like I play a lot of video games. I don't rush through them, but like the type of games I play aren't usually paced like this. So it's been a nice change, a change of pace, literally, on how I play it. And I'm just having such a really remarkable time with it. It is on PS5. It's on PC. It will set you back $29.99. There was a demo. I don't know if it's still up station and on actually looking here the demo is off of Steam, but it might be there on PlayStation. They posted this on the 1st of February. Thank you for 200,000 climbers. So it looks like it's working out for it. It is developed and published by the Game Bakers. So very positive on Steam with over 3,000 reviews right now. I think it's doing pretty good. You should check it out. Like if you're listening and you haven't seen it, go watch some clips on it. It might look a little daunting, but I don't think it's as technically challenging as it might appear to be. And you'll find your rhythm with it pretty quick. So
yeah, from like a difficulty standpoint, it seems somewhere between a Jusant on the easier side and baby steps. You know, or like an actual Quap or Clop where you really do have to be more specific about your movement tech or how you're moving. This one feels like it has like a nice balance, and I think that's a good place to be from a mechanic standpoint.
I would concur. All right, so that is what we're going to cover tonight. We typically have more games that we discuss, but when we do a monthly preview, we really try to give ourselves a little breathing room on the back half of the episode. So now that we've gotten the what you've been playing out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the month of January as a whole. I think January was off to a pretty good start, Chase. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, you put 6 games on your picks for last month.
God damn it, so I played 6 games and then some.
All right, well, why don't I start with mine, because I only put 1 game on. In January, I put Big Hops. As you heard me talk a little earlier, I've still been playing Big Hops. I played some more tonight. I'm definitely in the back half. I know Bobby's a little further than I am.
Getting close on that one. I'm pretty close to wrapping that one up.
But I've still been having a good time generally with that game. There's some little issues that I'm starting to pick up on more as I continue to play the game, but for the most part, it is still just a really expressive, fun platformer that does some really cool things and has better production values than I expected of a game of this caliber.
Yep,
and, so I would agree with me that. In a lot of good ways. You also had Big Hops, which we just talked about, but you also had a Star Rupture. Remind me what Star Rupture is.
That's the one that we streamed where I was on the planet with the big star rupturing build. It's a factory game. This is the one that you were.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep. Cool. Yep. All right. Got it. Sometimes you just have to say the word, and I know what it is. Cassette Boy, which I don't think we've actually talked about on the show.
We haven't. I was going to bring it up tonight, but being a preview episode, I am punting that to next week. If I can, I'm going to try and put a little bit more time with it over the weekend as well, but that's laughable because of the game I'm playing also. So we'll see.
Sure. Generally, though, you're having a good time with Cassette Boy.
It's cool. It's like Fez and Zelda. So cool shit there for me.
Sure. You and I also played this next one. You had the Animal Crossing New Horizons Nintendo Switch 2 edition with the 3.0 update.
Yep.
We did a casual Monday stream where we went back to Bobby's Island and looked around, but talked a little bit more about Animal Crossing. It seems like that's a good update for people, but for people like you and me, it just feels.
Sarah's barely played it, man. She kind of like I think she might be at the point now where it's just like. I think she's ready for the next installment. And I don't know if this is
probably not going to be for a really long time, unfortunately. But
I'm betting another 2 years if we're lucky.
Yeah. At least I would say.
There is a direct coming up, though,
Neo
right?
Memories in Orbit. What?
There is a direct coming up, right, for them?
There's a direct tomorrow, yes, or yesterday if you're listening to the audio version.
Maybe we'll be made fun of in the future. Like, hey, you idiots! There is an Animal Crossing.
It's a partner direct, so I don't think we're going to get any first party Nintendo things.
Sucks to be you all. You don't get to make fun of us.
You had Neo Memories in Orbit, which you talked about on a show
cool.
a couple weeks ago.
It's really good. It's definitely
game seems pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm at my hardest boss on that one, so I kind of like out of frustration put the sticks down. But I've watched a video on how to beat that boss, and I think I can do it. So I'm gonna go back and try it, see where I can go.
Nice. And then Karen, which we just talked about.
We just talked about. Good
All right.
month. A lot of indies.
How about talking about some? Yeah. How about talking about some free stuff?
You know, I like a good free thing.
All right. Well, for PlayStation Plus Essential, we got a handful of games for you. You've got Undisputed on the PS5. I believe that is a boxing video game. We have something called Subnautica Below Zero. That's probably garbage, right?
It is far from it. This is like, this is going to be a weird pull, but like, stick with me here. It's what Assassin's Creed Mirage was to like the Assassin's Creed franchise. So like it was, I believe, going to be DLC at one point in time, but kind of was spun off into its own thing. So it's a smaller slice. It's not necessarily a full sequel. Like that's they're working on that now. But this is a new location, similar tech to what you would have from Subnautica. It's cool. Like it's definitely worth checking out, but I don't think people liked it as much as the original Subnautica. So
I see.
Yeah.
Well, that's a PS4 and PS5 version, so you can get either one
Nice.
that way. Ultros is also PS4 and PS5. This is a really cool looking Metroidvania, just from an art style perspective. And Bobby is somebody who's been playing Mio for similar reasons. Is this something you might want to check out?
I played a demo of this one at a Next Fest. I don't know if it was just like, maybe it was 2024. I think that was the Prince of Persia year, right? I'm pretty sure that was that year.
Possible.
This was February. What was that Prince of Persia called?
That's a really good question.
It's not the Sands of Time. Lost Crown.
That is not. Okay.
Lost Crown, Prince of Persia release date. Because I think it's close to that February. Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. January 18th, 2024 was the Lost Crown release, and then this was February 13th, 2024. So I played the demo, but I was like, I'm already playing a Metroidvania that's really fucking cool. That looks fun, but hey, now on PS4 and 5 with this, like it was good. It looked good. It's got good reviews too, but I was just playing a different one at the time. That's all it was.
Yeah. Well, you're also playing a different one right now. So, I can't imagine you playing Ultros.
Yeah, 2024. I got enough 2026 shit on my plate right now.
Ain't that the truth? And then finally, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, the PS4 version of that, but obviously
do you ever play those?
PS5. I have not. I've heard good. Good is maybe the wrong word. I've heard very silly anime things that I didn't necessarily expect when I
Ace Combat.
Ace Combat being played. Yeah, because you're like, oh, this just looks like buttoned up military shooter stuff. I'm gonna get similar stuff to like Call of Duty in here, and apparently the answer is no. This game goes weird and hard on
I mean,
stuff.
Dude, I'm looking at this right now. It does look like it does all of those things you're saying, but holy shit, this game has over 20,000 very positive reviews on Steam.
I believe it. And
it does look. Dude, there's like a downtown. That thing looks kind of fucking cool.
I can't remember if it's this one or another one, but there's a dog that shows up in a lot of the cutscenes.
All right.
So that's Ace Combat's a little different than what I expected it to be. But I've heard good things.
Are you gonna add it to your library? Yeah, I was gonna say, you're gonna get it.
Add it to the library. Yeah.
All right. Yes. And put it on the wheel while you're at it.
Probably. You know what?
Put it on the fucking wheel.
I just might.
All right.
Speaking of the wheel, I'm going to postpone the wheel this month. I have not played any Skies of Arcadia, which was my wheel game from last month. But that is due to a couple factors. One, I just haven't been playing a heck of a lot of video games this month. Two, when I have been playing, I've been playing Big Hops or still some Final Fantasy Tactics, which wasn't a wheel game, but was a game that was on the wheel that I started playing anyway.
Still wheel to me, damn it.
Feels like a wheel game. Yes. So I'm going to continue playing a couple of those games, and then hopefully play Skies of Arcadia in February. I really would like to play that game, and I want to give myself time to play that right, because I know it's a very beloved video game, and I would like to beloved it as well.
Let's hear it, man. All right. Well, you know what? That's a solid lineup for PlayStation. Four big games in a shorter month. Yeah, that's good. They've been stepping it up a little bit.
Ready to take on the month of February?
You know it. Let me get us over to those trailers. Okay. That is not the trailer, but that is the trailer. And I'm ready when you are, friend.
All right, let's start on the first, where we have Star Sand Island coming to PC, Switch 2, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Bobby, I just saw this game and was like, this looks like a good game for my good old weeb friend Bobby.
Yeah, it's
How do you feel about this?
I think it's a little bit too normie for my likings of these things, but I mean, there's nobody with blue hair or ice coming off of them. I don't see any of that. I don't see any, idols or waifus, but I do like farming. I do like that you can take all those plots into a giant watermelon. That's very good.
Yes, that kind of combining stuff. It reminds me of like playing Puzzle Fighter.
Suika game,
Super Puzzle Fighter, where you get a bunch of the bricks together and then they make a big thing. Or Suika game, yeah, that's a really good one.
Oh, and fucking Worm. What is this?
It seems kind of funky.
Are those chocobos back there?
It might as well. I think that's just an ostrich, but it looks like it's got some interesting stuff to it that I wouldn't just necessarily expect.
This is like Infinity Nikki meets Stardew Valley.
Sure.
No, what was the Square Enix like Harvestella? Yeah.
Harvestella.
This is like a prettier version of one of those.
Whoa! I think Harvestella looked like Harvestella had. I need to look back at what Harvestella looked like.
I'm not saying it was ugly. I'm just saying that this is like definitely a softer looking. You can decorate your boat.
I like the character designs of Harvestella better, but I don't know if I like the.
It's not cell shaded like this one, right?
Of this. No,
okay,
it's definitely not.
No, I look.
Anyway,
I know when to hold them. I know when to fold them. Chase. That's what I'll say.
You're folding on this one.
I'm folding on this one.
Well, you do have something else to play, which on the 5th.
Yeah, I'm not. So let's hear that weeb comment again, friend. I'm holding that card.
On the 5th, Dragon Quest VII Reimagine comes to PC, Switch 2, PS5, and Xbox Series X. We both played the demo of this. You played much more of the demo than I did, but I also played a good chunk of the 3DS version. So I think we're about on par for where we've gone with Dragon Quest VII. But I'm really curious to see if either of us end up sticking through this one. The story behind this game is that it's always been just a super long video game. The original PS1 game, I believe, was something like 90, maybe even over 100 hours generally. And that's just a big time commitment. But the 3DS version, I think, simplified some stuff a little bit.
It sounded like it was a slog to play, too. Like that version people were saying was like just not, quality of life was not present for it. And being a long game had to be
rough. I think that's fair. It's still a very beloved game. I know that it's a lot of people's favorite Dragon Quest. But I think, especially when 8 came out, because 8 is a much more focused game than 7. 8 is, I think, really changed kind of the way that Dragon Quest is viewed, especially in the West. 8 felt like, hey, we're going to get those US people and not just the Japanese people who love Dragon Quest. I don't know how successful they were with 8. I know eventually now they're successful with stuff like 11 and for me 9 was the when I really got into the series. But 7's a very classic game. It's cool to see it get this new coat of paint. It sounds like it has some extra quality of life stuff, that it has some streamlining to make this a shorter, quicker experience. It's still going to be a very long RPG either way, but we're thinking something like in the 60-hour range instead of the 90, 100-hour range, which could be interesting.
It looks so good.
You're picking this up. You've picked this up, correct?
I bought after I completed the demo, I picked up the deluxe edition. and it had it unlocked on February 3rd, advanced access. So I've been playing it, and I've now progressed past the demo, and I'm in the next. I'm in Emberville, if you ever made it that far. So it's the red tablet. If you
I
remember
don't know
that.
if I ever made it off the original island.
Okay, so I'm at a different island now. There's some really weird time shit going on, like you having visions and maybe things not being quite what they were. I'm finding some cool like synergies with my character. I'm having an absolute fucking blast with this game, man. It is so good. I'm really enjoying my time so far. Probably like 6 hours.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah, 6 hours into it, I think, after the demo. And there were some really cool, like the deluxe edition came with a slime shield, a slime wand, a slime boomerang, and the main character here in the game, that he has the boomerang, and his basic attack hits everybody now, which is really good. And I don't know, man. I'm just having so much fucking fun with it. The music is just, it's such a charming game. And I love all the sound design. I love all the combat. Like, this has been really fun to play.
It's always been a classic series. I played a really good chunk of the HD 2D version of 3 that came out. What was that, last year?
Yep.
2 years ago. And had a good time with it. Felt bad that I didn't complete it. But I'm excited to pick this game up. I know I just talked about big RPGs that I'm playing currently with Tactics, and knowing that Skies of Arcadia is on the list. I don't know if this is something I'm going to necessarily get in the month of February, but it's a game that I'm definitely going to buy and look forward to playing.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I think you'll have a good time with it for sure.
Yeah. On the 6th, Neo 3 comes to PC. How do we feel about Neo? I know we're not big Souls fans here, but
I played the first one. I feel like
if I was going to play one of these, I would play a Neo over a Dark Souls.
So here's what I'll say. I think that's probably fair. It is still punitive. The things I know that you don't like about the Souls stuff is present here, but there's a lot of other stuff that you do like that's not in Souls that might be enough to lift you here. For what it's worth, a few people I know that are very into this genre, and a few people that I don't know personally, but I do know, parasocially, that enjoys the genre, have all been saying that this is the best one of these in the Neo series. Like, there's a demo that was out for it, and the people are like, yeah, I played the demo 2 times. It's fucking awesome. So I don't know, man. Like, if I don't know if you need to play the other 2 to appreciate this. I don't know if the story has always been like the strong selling point on this game, but I did like Black Myth Wukong, and it was a little bit more on the actiony side than the punitive side. This is probably like closer to that experience from what I recall Neo being, and maybe 2 did it, but this looks far more open in a way, and just not as dark, like, and grimy. Like, there's some really cool jungle environments. It looks like the first game, I didn't get very far into it, so maybe I'm just talking on my ass here, but it was just like a burning village most of the time, and I just felt like it was like this dark, hard to see shit, like, not my thing. But I don't know, man. Maybe it is. Maybe there is something.
I remember playing a demo of the first game, and what I really liked about the first game, and who knows, maybe they've taken this out of Neo at some point, but the thing that made it feel different than Souls and had me more interested in it is that the levels, or the area, was level based. That you would have this section of the game where you would go through this level, beat these bosses or whatever, and then you'd be done and you'd be out of it and you'd go to the next level. And that feels more interesting to me as somebody who doesn't necessarily like wasting time, doesn't like going and walking across big open world things that don't have anything in them. In a more traditional Souls game, to have just some random enemy kill you and now you have to go back on a corpse run or something like that always felt bad to me. So the idea that Neo was level based felt like it was a little bit more focused in that way. And that had me more interested in playing it more like an action game, playing it like a Bayonetta or a Devil May Cry. Even though it plays very differently, it still has sign of connective tissue there, rather than the connective tissue of something like a Souls game. I don't know if I'm necessarily looking to get into playing these games,
Yeah.
but like I said, I think if I were to play one, I probably would try a Neo, and this one seems like it's pretty solid.
Hell yeah. Very cool.
Moving on to the 10th, we have Mewgenics, Mewgenics, coming to PC. This is the new game from Edmund McMillan, who you might know from Binding of Isaac. Isometric strategy game, roguelike, looks like Into the Breach.
Yeah.
I'm liking all those things, but buddy, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. Go ahead.
I've not played Binding of Isaac. We've talked about this. I've never played it. I'm very familiar with how it looks. I did a little digging on this one, and it seems like this is like something that if I make back when they were doing Binding of Isaac, there was limitations that they had or capability. I don't quite know. But I've heard that like Binding of Isaac kind of helped them get to a point to make this game. And this style of game, I think, is more interesting to me than a Binding of Isaac. So I'm going to be picking this game up. I've gotten into this genre a little bit more since you and I have been doing stuff. I think this could be a game that we stream at some point in time and check out. And maybe you'll be like, you know what? Like, yeah, there's a lot here. Or you're going to be like, no, I'm right. This is really fucked up. I don't care about breeding cats and I don't care about the gross shit. Like, so we'll see.
Yeah. Because that's the issue for me. Like, mechanically, I think this game is going to be great.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of care that I've seen in A Binding of Isaac and the other games that McMillan has made, you know, I see the craftsmanship from a mechanical standpoint. I just don't love the poop and the blood and the it's not necessarily that it's crass, it's that it's gross. It really just is gross. And even a lot of this marketing stuff, it was hard to find a trailer that actually showed what the fucking game looked like.
Yeah, they're doing some bizarre
a lot
shit
of the trailers are doing this live action snuff film kind of stuff that was very, I mean, certainly unique, and certainly Ed McMillan and the way he develops games and markets games as well. But I think I'm going to like the ideas that this game presents. I'm just not going to like the way.
What day does this one come out?
Them. So this is the 10th.
This is the 10th?
Pretty soon.
Why don't we plan on Monday the 16th? We'll stream this. And then the 23rd is going to be the Next Fest. So we've got plans for this Monday. We'll play this together on the 16th. And you can see it in action. You can ask questions. We'll play it. Maybe it will be exactly what you're thinking. But we will play this game on the 16th. If you're listening to this episode before then, come back on Monday the 16th at 9 p.m. Central to see some gross shit.
Absolutely. And I will say, I've been able to put the gross shit to the side before.
Yeah.
Binding of Isaac is one of my favorite games. I've played that so much. And even when it's gross, you're like, it's gross, but I'm having such a great time playing it. And I hope Mewgenics ends up being the same thing.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that looks at this and goes, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can.
What did we say this was on? Is it PC only?
Just PC,
okay.
Which is also very helpful to me. Going like, well, if it's not on a system that I play video games on, then I don't have to worry about it. But
yeah,
I will be interested to see you play it and talk about it like that.
We'll check it out, man.
On the 11th, Romeo is a Dead Man is coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. This is the new game from Suda51, so it will also be fucked up in a way, but a different kind of fucked up than an Ed McMillan game. This one's gonna find its fans. Suda games always do. They're always a little off the wall and weird. I think this one is off the wall and weird in some ways that look kind of cool. I like going between melee combat and shooting, and think the video game part of it might also be very good. Some of this stuff looks stupid. Mewgenics looks gross. This just looks stupid, and some people like stupid.
I've had on my like upcoming games to watch, like my personal game journal, This has been on it. I've not played those other ones. I'm very much like what you're saying. I look at it, I'm like, I could see myself liking this game. I could see myself doing some of this shit. Like, it looks like a fun action game that I would be into, but then it's just like, this is going to be really fucking weird. I don't know if it's the type of weird I like or if it's going to be the type of weird that I dislike. But I've been keeping an eye on this one. I'm going to see a little bit closer to release what people are saying about it. And there's a possibility I'll be playing Romeo's a Dead Man. I don't know. We'll see.
I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Moving on to the 12th, Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. Yeah, Dark Ties. Speaking of Yakuza, like we did before, we've got 3 coming back in a Kiwami version. This is kind of their remastered remakes of those earlier games. This is coming to PC, Switch, Switch 2, PS5, and Xbox Series X. I've also got a Yakuza loving friend who plays all the games in the series and won't shut up about them, won't shut up about how great they are. I played Yakuza Like a Dragon, which was the RPG one. That's the one traditional beat 'em up style. And I liked the amount that I played, but I didn't really go all the way through. And I've always considered, okay, I should pick up one of these and just try it, and I just never have. And I got to be honest with myself, I don't think I ever will, but I do appreciate these games from a distance.
People like them. People really like them.
Let's keep moving. On the 16th, Double Dragon comes to PC.
Double
Bobby,
Dungeon.
I believe you.
Dungeon.
Double Dungeon. Sorry.
Yep.
I was thinking Double Dragon. Said Double Dragon, and it's supposed to be Double Dungeon. What's this one about?
Oh man, Chase. All right, there's a demo out right now you can check out. This thing is fucking cool. So if you think Mugenics is too gross, it's also got a little bit of that Into the Breach stuff where you can bump enemies into each other. So the dice are interesting. You roll dice at the beginning of your turn, and then the dice value is what you drag to your ability. So if you want to block, let's say that you rolled a 6 and a 4, and you've got somebody in front of you that hits hard, maybe you put that 6 on your shield, and you're going to negate 6 damage, and you put 4 on that. You can move up. It's kind of like a Fire Emblem. It's kind of like an Into the Breach. And
that sounds exactly like Dicey Dungeons, where you'd have equipment things and you'd roll the dice, and then you pick which die goes into which equipment for that roll that turn. So that stuff sounds pretty cool. But like that was like a dungeon one-on-one battle thing, where this is doing a strategy kind of game. So that's an interesting wrinkle to it.
But there's also deep skill trees for your characters, and the big standout here is this is all claymation, and what's fucking awesome, there's fucking fingerprints on the characters in the environment where like you see somebody that like molded this, and this game in action. Like, man, this thing is potentially got the juice. It checks it's got a look. It's got some good roguelike shit you would expect in a modern roguelike. It's got deep character customization. It's got good turn-based strategy on it. I think this should be on your radar, 100%.
Also, one of the characters looks like Aloy, so we know why Bobby wants to play it.
I've not got Aloy. I have the little red-haired. She's got like a fire attack and a blade, like she's like a rogue. And then I've got the knight, and then there's a mage that I have so far in the demo. Pretty cool. Yeah, man.
On the 17th, Avowed comes to PS5. So, we don't need to play a trailer or anything, but this is an Obsidian game. It's been on Xbox and PCs, but Xbox is now starting to put stuff on PS5 as well. If the BDS movement ever calls off the Xbox boycott, I think I would like to try Avowed. And
Avowed's cool.
Being on PS5 makes me more interested in playing it.
That's the one that had Garrus in it. The voice actor for Garrus. He plays that really cool blue fish guy.
Yeah, like not actual Garrus, right?
No.
Shepard showed up. I'm Archangel
now. But no, it was good. I enjoyed it. I think people wanted more depth. It's a shorter experience, which I know you would appreciate, and it's not as like buggy and broken as a Bethesda game would be, but it feels like they started at that point of like, let's make an Elder Scrolls like the same way we've done with other shit, but they ended up making it's very bright and vibrant. It's got a lot of cool upgrades. Like that's the one where if you find the same weapon type or the same item, it like goes from a rare or an uncommon to a rare automatically. So there's some cool shit there. I hope for a lot of reasons that BDS strike is lifted because Microsoft pulls their head out of their ass. Selfishly, I'd like for you to be able to play some of these games from studios that we do care about that are now under that umbrella. But if it does, man, like regardless of when, like I think that's worth picking up on your PlayStation 100%. Like that's a fun game.
Yeah, hope so. Also on the 17th, Under the Island comes to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. You know, obviously this thing's going for a bit of Link to the Past.
Big time.
Very, very obvious. But, you know, you see a lot of games that go for like, hey, we're going to make a Zelda game or we're going to make a Link to the Past style looking game. But I'm not trying to say they ripped it off more, but I think they found a way of bringing in more of the feeling of a Link to the Past in a game like this when I see other games that kind of clone this.
The vertical like ledges where like you would hop down, like the grass, like even the water depth being darker in some areas and lighter. That there looks like Death Mountain, like at the top of it. Like this looks directly lifted out of one of the dungeons you would go. I mean, this is a very shameless ripoff of that. And I'm not mad about it because like it's my favorite shit, but at the same time, like I agree with you. Like this is I mean, Jesus Christ, this is just Zelda. Like Jesus like fucking Christ.
So the biggest difference here is that this is in a modern setting. Yeah. And I think that can be really interesting too, in a similar way to like, hey, Earthbound is kind of like a lot of other traditional RPGs, but it's so cool that it's set in the modern day and not in a weird fantasy world, not in a medieval thing with magic and all that stuff. And I think this could have a similar. Oh, that's interesting that you put it in this setting instead. And I think the game looks